Who does come in? I'm just wondering, because Manchester United emphatically beat Tottenham, they opted to sack Nuno Espirito Santo, and in came Antonio Conte after rejecting the club in the summer. So he's off the market. Pochettino, you suspect, wouldn't want to leave PSG mid-season. They're still in the Champions League. He's got Lionel Messi, who just scored his first goal in Ligue 1 today. Things are ticking along there, perhaps not as convincingly as he would like. Zidane seems to be the name on everybody's lips, along with Brendan Rodgers, but he is still contracted to Leicester. Let's not forget that. And with Zidane, according to some of the French journalists, doesn't speak a word of English. Although, according to Emmanuel Petit, his former international teammate, he is learning English. However, he believes that the Premier League wouldn't interest Zidane. And the other thing to remember is Didier Deschamps' contract with France ends after the World Cup. So slightly over a year from now, because it's happening during the winter of the next campaign. Zidane is allegedly a shoo-in to take over the France national team. Why would he come into Manchester United for, if he comes in now, a year, when his dream job is to take over the France team? I mean, could he do both? Where do you stand on this, Jamie? Who's going to come in? Who? Would it be Darren Fletcher as interim manager?
Look, it's a great question, and it's a tough question to ask, a tough question to answer, because, you know, you would say Zidane, but you raise the points there. You know, he is looking at the France job. I know that's something he's wanted, but he's also got to look at it and think, if he waits another year until after the World Cup, you know, he's been out of the game then for like almost 2 seasons. So, you know, you need to keep being involved in the game. You need to keep coaching. You need to keep dealing with players day in, day out. So Man United might be the job for him for now. And then, you know, who knows? Back in the day, you used to be able to manage the club team and manage the national team side. So I don't know whether that's something he could do. Probably not. But Brendan Rodgers is one there, but he's not doing amazing things at Leicester this season. Ten Hag, for me, at Ajax, is a manager who I think is brilliant. I love his style of football. I think it'd be perfect for United. It's just, again, whether they could convince him. But I think Zidane, look, he's dealt with Ronaldo. He's dealt with Varane. They're 2 players that he loves and has worked with before. So I guarantee you'll be having discussions with both them players about the situation. And I think he'd go in and do a good job. They've got a world-class set of players, Man United, but they need a world-class manager and person who knows how to get the best out of them and knows how to organise them and knows how to manage them. Because I feel like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's really let himself down with some of the managing that he's had with these players, with Maguire, with Donny van de Beek, with Jadon Sancho. You know, he's not got the best out of them. And Zidane, I think, will do that because he's done it before at Real Madrid.
OK, let me ask you this. You mentioned Ronaldo and Varane, of course. They also speak Spanish, in the case of Varane, French as well. That would have helped immensely for Zidane in terms of man management. And by all accounts, he's very much a conveyor of words of his players. It's not so much about the tactics. You have staff for that. It's to motivate the players. But how many of the players there speak Spanish or French who are integral to the starting 11? There's some reports out there from the likes of Julien Laurens over in England saying that that is a huge negative for Zidane because he doesn't speak English. He won't be able to convey his thoughts to the press, let alone the players and the staff. And you know what? I want Kev's take on this because we read reports that was a problem for Unai Emery when he was at Arsenal, the language barrier. And it could be a language barrier for Zidane as well if he takes over at Manchester United. Is that a fair assumption?
That's a fair assumption, Adam. As far as I'm concerned, Zidane wants the France job. And Zidane left Real Madrid and was out of football for, 2 or 3 seasons. Then when they came calling for him, he came in and done a fantastic job at Real Madrid after not being involved. And if you're an international manager, obviously you're not hands-on day-to-day. You manage the squad in spurts, don't you? They come together, you manage them, and then they go back to their clubs, and then you watch a lot of football, etc. So that might be just the right move for him. The key is, are Manchester United going to break the bank to get him if that's what they want? And if that is what they want, then the backroom staff that he wants to bring in is going to be the key. That's going to be the key for him. Because you're going to have to be able to communicate what the manager wants. Obviously, he's a massive name, world-class player, has been a world-class manager at Real Madrid. You know, can he do it? Yes, he could do a good job. He knows how to handle the big-name players, etc. But that language barrier might just prove to be too much. You know, I know Brendan Rodgers ain't ripping trees up at Leicester at the moment, but don't forget, you know, he's been doing a great job at Leicester.
Yeah.
Competing.
Kev, you know, you talk about language barrier. I remember when one day Ramos come in at Spurs. He couldn't speak a word of English. He could only speak Spanish. Jonathan Woodgate, who'd been at Real Madrid, was fluent in Spanish. He was his interpreter. So, you know, you look at Zidane, he could come in. He's got Pogba, he's got Varane. You know, he can help him with getting across what he needs to get across. It's not hard to know what the manager wants from you. But what I think Zidane will do is he will galvanise the players that need galvanising, like your Paul Pogba's, like Ronaldo, like Varane, Maguire, because instantly they're going to look up. Sancho. They're going to look up to him because it's Zinedine Zidane, one of the greatest players ever. So there's instant respect. Plus, he's done it at Real Madrid. He's got Champions Leagues under his belt. So the language barrier for me is irrelevant. Tell me what to do, Gaffer, and I'll do it for you. Tell me how you want us to play, and I'll play that way. There's enough people there in that dressing room to get the points across and know what needs to be done. Because at the moment, they're all over the place. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer compete and speak fluent English. They're still all over the place.